Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Geek Spot News, episode 185.
185.
So many episodes. Thanks for joining. Thanks for finding the Geek Spot. I'm Jack Kidd. That's Frank Gerhardt over there.
Waiting for the YouTube version to start. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, and then you can share those things. Yeah, we're getting there. Look, everybody's starting. Everything's starting somewhere. There's sample comments in the chat already. It's great. So yeah, it's been a minute. Frank had a bunch of hockey things going on, so we had to do some rescheduling. But we wanted to make sure we got an episode in to talk about Ironheart before the big Boy Scout movie comes out this week. And so we could get you all up to speed on our thoughts on all those things and all the other stuff that's dropped in the last week, because I think there was something that dropped almost every day in the last week or so. So we will hit all that shortly. In the meantime, Frank, what have you been up to, man?
Not as much as I had been. I was on a real run with hockey games. I was 3-4 a week for a little while there. I am down to one team, one game a week at the present time. Currently, the Thursday team I'm on is playing a makeup game from last Thursday. 2 Thursdays ago, it got rained out, and the makeup day is Monday. And I say, no, it's a Thursday.
That's today.
Yeah. Good luck to them. That's my Star Wars themed league where I am the R2D2 team.
Oh, did the season go the way of Alderaan, or did it go better?
So far, one game in. That I've played. I'm 1-0 on that team. Okay. I did sub for the Darth Vader team last Thursday because they didn't have enough players. And, of course, wearing another guy's jersey, had a goal and an assist. So good for him. He got points. I didn't score for my team. I got no points. But hey.
Sorry to hear that.
Hey, what are you going to do? How about you? You not as busy?
No, busy, different busy. How was your 4th? There was this big fireworks birthday celebration for America or something over the weekend.
Did nothing. And when I say I did nothing, I sat on my couch and played Destiny, the original Destiny. I went all the way back in time to play the original Destiny. My dog was calm, didn't get upset by the fireworks. I didn't care.
Did that one have Idris Elba in it?
No.
Oh.
Did not. He was not in any of them.
I thought
it was Lance Riddick.
No, I know that, but I thought Idris Elba voice. Was he in the commercial then? I think he was in the commercial.
Might be in a commercial.
Yeah.
Saturday I went to the barbecue, the gay-barbecue. I can say that because Mark and Jimmy are married. I can say that out loud. Sure. There was one. It was a great time. Seen a lot of people I haven't seen in a while. Got to hung out for a couple hours, and then just kind of scampered back off home.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, I think Idris Elba did the voice in the commercial for Destiny 2.
I think that might be right.
That's what it was.
Not Destiny 2. This was Destiny Uno.
Yeah. I think I bought that one. I might have played it for 30 or 40 seconds one time until I said, oh, I'm bored.
Yep.
Look, I had some gigs. It was, the holiday, so did that with the family. Went to an orchard around here. Had the full day thing with the friendly brewery of ours was there for the day, so went to them. Got some beverages while we were there at the event. Saw some of the best fireworks around. Beat out most of the ones that have been around for years. This is only their 2nd year doing it, so great time there. I got plenty of time to watch some TV, which was great to catch up on some shows. There was a ton of stuff that came out last week. Besides, the finale of Ironheart that we got the chance to get through. Sandman dropped.
Yes.
Heads of State dropped. Murderbot, I finally found time to go watch.
You watched a lot more than I did. But I did watch.
Face dropped a new episode that I didn't know they were going to drop.
Who did?
Poker Face. I thought it was done. There's 2 episodes left. This last one was fantastic.
I did watch one thing that we watched. Well, 2 things together.
That's exciting. Yeah, The Old Guard 2 dropped on Netflix.
I heard
Um,
some stuff about that.
thoughts?
I heard some stuff about it. I didn't see it, but T left a comment that stuck in my head about it.
Mm. You have to watch The Stick over on Apple TV and Countdown on Amazon Prime too, which is great. There's some people that pull back to our shows of yesteryear that we can mention as we get through there.
Okay.
That's everything I've been up to. I know we're going to look at doing our own list, and you have a list for us to hit before that.
Yeah, quick. I'm gonna start before we get into the sad stuff. Well, we'll do the sad stuff first. We had two big passing aways this week. First, we had Michael Madsen passed away at 67 years old. Michael Madsen had a long career.
I played Stuck in the Middle for him over the weekend.
Oh, he's a hell of an actor. More character. He worked in over 100 films, TV shows, video games. He worked with just some highlights: Quentin Tarantino, Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill, Hateful Eight, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. His final film roles are currently in post-production, including the upcoming Power Rangers Riff, Legend of the White Dragon. He's 4 decades of just TV, movies, and everything.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I thought he died a few years ago, so I was a little surprised. But who was that? Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
No, I feel like it was another Reservoir Dog, but maybe I'm confused. Look, his biggest claim to fame, I think, out of all those was Grand Theft Auto, right?
I was just gonna say he was in Grand Theft Auto 3 and the game Dishonored. I never played that, but I played the hell out of Grand Theft Auto 3.
Me too. That was my Grand Theft Auto. That and Vice City are the two that I probably spent the most hours in.
Ray Liotta, Vice City.
Yeah. I don't think it's Ray Liotta I'm thinking of, but I know Ray Liotta passed.
Michael Penn, maybe?
Could have been Michael Penn. Chris Penn?
Chris Penn?
Yeah. But I know Chris Penn died a few years ago, but I felt like it was somebody else that was very in the Michael Madsen vein.
Well, not only did we lose Michael Madsen, but then we lost. Oh, I closed the wrong tab. Oh, I'm so good at this. I had it, and there's a new thing on this website. Where the heck is it? Here we go. Julian McMahon passed away at 56 after a private battle with cancer. Julian McMahon, you would probably know him. He was Dr. Doom in the Fantastic Four and the Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer from Fox. He played in Marvel Runaways. He was Cole Turner in Charmed, Christian Troy in Nip Tuck, Jess LaCroix in FBI Most Wanted. He was just in a whole bunch of stuff. And he had just started talking about how he would love to kind of get involved in Doomsday at some point. And 56 is a young age to pass away today.
It is. He was also in The Residence, which you have raved about a few times now.
In The Residence. Oh, I haven't finished that. I keep forgetting to go back to that. That's right.
He was in 6 episodes, so I feel like you may have seen him.
Yeah.
Look, and speaking of that show, I don't know if you need to go back to it.
I do need to go back to it.
Because it's not getting a season 2, so it doesn't matter.
Probably. That doesn't shock me. And then, like, just to kind of, before we go into the list, just to bump us up a little back into the positiveness of the world. Keith David. There's a video going around. You know who Keith David is, right?
I do.
He was in Men at Work.
No.
Yeah,
no. Not who I'm thinking of. Yes.
But I went all the way back for that.
You did.
I went way back with Keith David to Men at Work. Keith David is a veteran actor with over 400 film roles to his name. Okay? He finally got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and there's video of him watching the announcements of the people that are getting the stars, and he had no clue he was getting it. So good for
Destiny
Keith
2.
He is in Destiny 2. He picked up the role of Zavala from Lance Riddick, who passed away. He's 70 years old, but oh my goodness, does this man have? We could spend another hour on his IMDb.
Yeah, he's
How did you get the
voiced
Franks
all
above
of
the
the things
beans?
and all of the things.
Yep. How did you get the Franks above the beans, son? There's something about Mary. Oh, he was in. Do you know that he was Goliath in Gargoyles too?
And
The
in the original
cartoon,
Gargoyles.
the
Oh,
animated,
nice.
the really good one.
Yeah, look, he was Hordak in this He-Man reboot.
Yeah. Oh no, he's
Uh,
chugging along.
yeah.
But to the list, to the good, to the fun, to the list. In honor of Superman coming out this week, actually Superman premieres tonight in LA. And from what I understand, the media embargo lifts at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time tonight. So if you're trying to avoid Superman spoilers and you're not going to get to see it till the weekend, stay away from the internet, folks. Jack and I are going to get to see it tomorrow at 7 o'clock in Cherry Hill at the Amazon Prime early screening.
Yeah, there's already been two news sources that have already leaked their reviews, which is great.
I saw. Yeah, they were like both sides of the spectrum. But
yeah,
this is 8 times Superman's secret identity absolutely should have been revealed, but wasn't in DC movies and TV shows. I'm not looking at this as a top list because there's definitely some misses here. But number 8, this was in 1978 Superman, and give it a little bit of, the times were different. There wasn't any social media back then. But when young Clark Kent raced a train, absolutely should have been revealed. If that was in 2020 or in the 2000s, everybody in the world would have seen it.
Yeah, look, that's fine. It's Superboy versus Superman. And again, if that was based on being in the 70s, it was in the 60s that happened, nobody would have believed it.
No. So we fast forward to the number 7 spot here to 1980 when Clark Kent is hit by a taxi trying to cross the street.
That's not the scene I would have picked from Superman 2, but okay.
Well, there's another Superman scene coming up
good.
from that movie, but it like literally stopped in front of the cab and ran across the Lois as bumbling Clark does, and the cab driver gets out and looks around, and there's his car all destroyed in the front end.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny. And again, I'm not picking on this movie for these moments, tongue-in-cheek moments.
No, enjoy Superman 2 immensely. So
same. Number 6, we go to one of my favorite Superman movies, Man of Steel. Clark Kent saves a school bus.
But not his dad. So,
Well, you don't want to reveal yourself to the world. But
right. Just everybody in your
Lang
class.
sees him, but she still never finds it out. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
The number 5 occurs in 1978 Superman when he's running across the street and he rips his shirt open to reveal the big red S as he's running. And I really enjoy the sequence of this movie where he, Lois is dangling from the skid of a helicopter at the top of a building of the top of the Daily Planet. And he runs up to change and he stops at a phone booth and he looks up and down at the phone booth and kind of runs on. And I always remember that scene because my dad laughed at it. My dad was not into the superhero thing, but liked this movie, and he got a chuckle out of it.
Nice.
Yeah. Ripped his shirt open, ran into the roundabout door, and it comes out, and then there's the pimp sitting at the car. I enjoyed that whole sequence.
Yeah, look, it was all slowed down for the camera.
Sure.
It was all at super speed, so nobody saw it. It's fine.
Here they have at the number 4 spot, and I didn't watch this show, so I can't say to it. Lois romances Clark and Superman in the New Adventures of Superman.
Oh, that's the Dean Cain one?
That's the Dean Cain one.
No, it's not. New Adventures of Superman?
No, this is the Dean Cain one.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
That was Superman and Lois, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at Terry Hatcher and Dean Cain. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not watch that one either, so I can't speak to that one.
Number 3 occurs in Smallville. where Clark Kent constantly uses his superpowers.
Yeah, just the show, Smallville.
Like the show in general.
But he wasn't Superman. He
No,
was just powered Clark Kent.
he was just powered Clark Kent. Yes.
So which brings me to a fun point about that has now been going around rumor wise that like and I don't know how current this list is, so I don't know if it's going to hit.
It goes well. The next one hits 2016. So.
Okay, so that Smallville's in on it, like that they all know. They've all always known.
They've all always
that
known.
Clark has powers, and they just—it's part of the deal of living in Smallville. You just don't say anything.
That's hilarious. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear Michael Rosenbaum discuss Smallville after season 7. They're up to season 7. The next season that they do will be season 7.
They must be making so much money on their Patreon to still be going with that show because he's hated every minute of it.
They just know he's actually liked some of the episodes more recently. He's backed off the obscene hate of it. But they just did a whole cruise just did Cruiseville.
Again,
where a bunch of them went on a cruise.
amount of money he's making off this Talkville show.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He's sucking up
everybody's waiting to see what happens after season 7 when he's gone. Number 2, Clark Kent disappears while Superman is dead in Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. That's a little harder to kind of say because there's a Daily Planet reporter, Clark Kent killed reporting the Gotham battle. I mean, that's I would have.
Yeah, I don't know why that one. They just said it happens. And what we saw, is any one of Superman's battles, he kills a lot of collateral damage, which led to BVS anyway.
Right. And then
shocking Snyder would have a plot hole.
The number one reason is Superman is constantly in the media.
Yeah, and they've explained that different ways over the years. There was a stretch where he always vibrated his face super fast, so it was always a blur to people looking at him, but obviously he didn't draw it that way.
Right. James Gunn is actually bringing back an old trope from the comics that he's already talked about in the media, so it's okay to say it now, but he has hypno glasses. I'm curious to see how they explain how that works in the movie version.
Yeah, that was in one comic book in 1964, and that was it. Because then they were like, "This is stupid.
Well,
we can't do that." But James Gunn's going for it, so we'll see if that happens.
Let's see.
But so in the Adventures of Superman and Lois, he reveals to Smallville that he's Superman towards the end.
Right.
So, he gets found out sometimes. In the comic books, and that goes along with in the comics, he revealed that he was Clark Kent to the world. And then they do some, one of the multiple resets they do in DC every couple of years, they walk that one back. But it's not unheard of, and it gives another twist for him. I think the thing with any of those times is it's when it's a long form storytelling, like the comics, where they're going to walk it back in a few years, but it gives them a chance to go tell something different. It's great. When it's in a format like a movie or something like that, like there's so many stories you can tell that you don't have to go to those big, huge things like the death of Superman losing his secret identity. Like you don't have to go to those. There's plenty of stories to tell where he's just going around Supermaning. But they feel the need to tell these big, earth-shattering stories, and every time, which drives me nuts. I'm
very excited for the movie tomorrow. Like I'm very, 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 very excited. Not only are you and I going, my manager and his brother are going, and Kenny, who pops in every once in a while, but always comes into our wrestling podcast, me and T, from the Discord server that I'm in with a bunch of those guys is going to be there. So it's nice to meet up with some people. Before you get to your office stuff, right? I have one piece of news related to The Office.
Oh, you're right. You want to do our list first?
Well, yeah, but okay. Yeah, let's
just so Dom can hang out a little while.
Dom can hang out a little longer. Okay. Okay. We'll keep Dom here a little longer. We decided that since Phase 5 is now over in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I posted a thing. I sent you a text. What the phases made. Phase 1 for Marvel made $3.8 billion. Phase 2 made $5.2 billion. Phase 3, which I don't think is ever going to be touched again by Marvel, made $11.4 billion. I don't think they're ever going to get that high again. And then they started to kind of go backwards. Phase 4 hit 5.7, and Phase 5, which just ended, fell all the way down to 3.6 billion. I don't think they're ever going to get as high as the 11 billion again as cumulative.
Yeah, and look, and I think that that ties into the other news story going right now. Scarlett Johansson now,
Yep.
her films have now grossed 14.8 billion. So with what you just said about Phase 3,
Yep.
probably 2/3 at least of that came from her and came from those movies in 3, which is funny.
Yep. Crazy, right? I mean, she was in every phase up until, was she in Phase 5?
She was not in Phase 5. She had
Out
one
by
movie in
Phase
Phase
5.
4 when she had her solo movie was the kickoff
Right.
to Phase 4.
Right.
Or was that the closing to Phase 3? I don't remember.
I don't
think it was
remember,
the
but she
kickoff
was
to
not
Phase
in
4.
Phase 5. So what we decided to do was, since Phase 5 is now over with Ironheart officially closing the book on Phase 5, we decided that we were going to rank our Phase 5 movies and TV shows all together. Also, as a little side note on the Marvel universe, Michael Douglas at 80 has retired.
Good for him.
From acting,
He
as did
deserves
apparently Evangeline Lilly. And
Oh.
someone,
Oh no.
well, someone in the chat when I posted that earlier said, or maybe it was you, I don't remember. Somebody somewhere told me that if I had if Ant-Man and the Wasp in the Quantumania movie was my last movie, I would retire also.
Yeah, look, it drove multiple people. Jonathan Majors not working anymore after that movie. Evangeline Lilly. It's okay.
So we're going to rank our Phase 5 movies and TV shows all together. There's 14 of them, right?
Sure.
I have 14.
Oh, well, let's hope we have the same number.
Me
3,
too.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 13. So that's interesting.
So we'll see which one comes out of this that you don't have. As always, we'll start.
Oh, wait. We have 12.
Oh. Well, I even included the 2 I didn't watch, so that could bring me back to 12.
Yeah, I don't know which 2.
I know what one you may have forgotten.
I didn't forget any of them. These are the ones on the list I sent you.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start at 14. We'll start at the bottom.
All right.
What did you have at 14?
So my 12.
Okay, you're 12.
Was Secret Invasion.
Yes, I have Secret Invasion. I have Secret Invasion under the 2 I didn't watch.
Oh, did you have What Ifs in here?
I put both What Ifs as 1.
Okay.
I put What If 2 and 3 as 1.
I didn't count them because they are technically not canon, and they would have season 3 of What If would be down in this realm.
What about Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man? Did you not count that either?
That is not MCU, so I did not count that.
All right, so we're at even then.
That would actually be probably my top 5 on this list.
Okay.
Even though it was a long watch.
So we're what, 12?
Yeah.
All right.
So I had no What If and no Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Okay, so Secret Invasion is also my last.
Look at that. This is going to line up perfect this whole way, I bet.
It might line up pretty good. Next.
No notes the whole time through.
Next on the list?
I have Quantumania next on the list.
I have Quantumania as well on the list.
Look, and I've watched the first 2 Ant-Man movies, both probably 20 times. Just if they were on, I would leave them on, on whatever, as I always quote my TBS Saturday afternoons or whatever.
Yeah.
When it was playing in the background, I would always leave those on. Quantumania, I have not.
Okay, you said 12,
myself.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
I've not tortured myself with a rewatch of Quantumania, and that Marvel even wrote off Secret Invasion before they released the movie that came out a month later. So
we are at number 10.
Number 10.
Number 10. Where do you have it 10?
What do you have at 10?
I have Echo at 10.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I have Loki season 2.
You were not a big fan of Loki season 2. I
No,
remember that.
well, it was awful. It
Yep,
was all Kang, and none of it matters. So that's where I put Loki season 2.
that's fair. Um,
I liked Ke Kwan. He was great in it.
I I I enjoyed Loki 2 much more than you did, as we'll see.
You did,
Um,
which, hey, you can go listen to those reviews on our back episodes if you want. They're all available
and
on Spotify and Apple and Google, YouTube Music, whatever it's called this week, wherever you get your podcasts. Feel free to go back and listen to our reviews of all of these
watch
wonderful
how
Marvel
our list
products.
drastically change at this point. What do you have at 9?
Cap,
You have
Captain,
Cap at
Brave
9.
New World.
I actually put Ironheart at 9.
Wow.
And when we talk about it, I did not dislike Ironheart at all. I didn't dislike it.
Yeah, we'll bring back Ironheart at the end. We'll
Yeah.
just throw it where it is in our rankings.
So I have 9. I have Ironheart at 9, and you have Cap.
Yes.
Okay. So at 8, I have Cap.
And then I have Ironheart.
Okay. So we're close. We're right there.
We are.
I like Captain America a little bit more. I think because I saw it in the movie, and it was I mean, they butchered the hell out of
I
what
saw
it.
it in the movies too.
Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't good there either.
Yeah, it was.
It's going to be worse if I watched it on streaming.
Okay. What do you have for 7?
Then I have Echo
Okay.
because I liked I looking back at it, I think the Kingpin performances
Oh, it's great.
and Vincent D'Onofrio carried that show higher
Okay.
in the list than it probably would have ended up otherwise.
Okay.
And setting up, I mean, that set up what we got in Daredevil.
It did.
It was one of the only Marvel properties in Phase 5 to actually lead to something else in Phase 5.
It did. I put Thunderbolts there, and this is where. But again, I liked Thunderbolts, but there was stuff that I liked more than Thunderbolts.
Interesting.
Yeah. That was 7, right?
It was.
Okay. So number 6.
6, I had Agatha.
Okay. Wow. See, I have Loki season 2 at 6.
But that's much higher than it deserves, but that's fair.
Well, I have Agatha much higher than you have it, obviously.
Well, and right, and our Thunderbolts are in different spots. So I had
Yeah.
Agatha there. You had Loki season 2. Then I had Deadpool and Wolverine.
Wow, that low.
Yeah, it's another one. Like I haven't had an interest to revisit it.
What's that? 5, right?
That is 5.
See, I put Daredevil Born Again at 5.
Wow. And look, and I liked that.
Daredevil was fine, but it started off so slow. It really got going.
Well, it finished where it started off. The problem was there was 8 episodes unrelated to anything else in the middle.
Yeah, it was a little.
It's problematic. But yeah, I didn't love Deadpool and Wolverine. I thought it was fine. It was funny. But
I
like,
have
did it
that much
move
higher.
the MCU for me? No.
No, but in terms, I just ranked them on what did I have the most fun watching. So at number 4, I have the Marvels at 4.
Okay.
I actually really, really enjoyed the Marvels, and probably would have put it higher if not for the other 3 shows above it the 3 properties above it that I enjoyed.
It comes across like you really enjoyed Phase 5, Frank. I think you were the only one that really enjoyed
I
all of Phase 5 because you're number 10 on the list. You're like, I love this show.
It was very hard to rank this Phase 5.
It was harder than I expected it to be. My 4 is
Yes.
Daredevil.
Okay.
Because it goes back to what I was just saying, right? Like it was so all over the place and inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like if Agatha would have nailed the ending better, I would have had Agatha higher on the list. But I thought it shit the bed on the ending. I thought Deadpool and Wolverine just it doesn't matter. So it was all great, cute fan service, but
Yeah.
doesn't do anything for me.
The Marvels I enjoyed more because of Miss Marvel was great in the movie, and they let Sam Jackson kind of open up again. He wasn't that closed off. Like they let him act a little bit more, and it was a little bit funnier. That was my 4. My 3 was Volume 3. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 for me was at number 3.
Oh, look, our lists have realigned. They've
Okay.
realigned there because I had Guardians of the Galaxy 3 at number 3.
I thought it was a good movie, but it wasn't as I thought the first one was better.
I mean, the first 2 were much better. The third one got bloated and kind of got stuck under the weight of all the things that James Gunn was like, well, I got one movie left. Let me finish all the stories that I wanted to tell in the first 2 and
Right.
didn't get to. Like, Jesus.
Right. Right.
And the Christmas special. Like, there's so much stuff to pull together on it.
My number 2 was Agatha.
I
absolutely loved that show. Then again, if you remember, I really liked WandaVision way more than you did.
Yeah, look, I enjoyed Agatha quite a bit. Like I said, if the ending hadn't gone off the rails,
yeah,
and been what 9 out of 10 Marvel products are anymore for the finale,
well,
I would have put it higher.
If there's payoff from the end of Agatha, the series will stick higher. If they never ever pay that off, then
yeah, I don't know that we're seeing the end any payoff from that ever, because they had some opportunities in the show that came out in the last 2 weeks that they could have paid some of those things off.
They did. What's your number 1 show or number 1 Phase 5?
How about number 2? You want my number 2?
That was number 2.
It was your number 2.
Agatha.
Yeah, my number 2 was the Marvels.
Oh, I apologize. I thought you said your number 2. See, like I said, I almost put the Marvels at 2. I just really had fun watching that movie.
Yeah, I have rewatched the Marvels once or twice, and I enjoy it. Look, it's because Kamala Khan's in it.
Yeah,
and I'll watch that girl Iman Vellani do anything.
She's great. Yeah, because she
saved that whole movie for me, so I was good.
She's having the fun that the other actors kind of, some of them lost the fun in doing those movies.
And I'm hoping that we pay off the end of that movie in Doomsday.
I think you're going to get I'll go to that point in a second. What was your number 1 your number 1 Phase 5 property?
It was Thunderbolts, and that could be partially from recency. But I was one where and there'll be something else we talk about later with this. Like, everybody in Thunderbolts knew what movie they showed up to make.
Yep.
And nobody was trying to be like, I'm super serious and this is going to wrap up. No, they were like, we're just going to show up and have fun and do dumb shit. It'll be great.
Mine was Daredevil and Wolverine, or Deadpool and Wolverine. Daredevil and Wolverine would be a good movie too. But Deadpool and Wolverine to me was, I think I saw that at least twice. That was just fun. But your point about the movies, and I was on a show with Ace and with T, and another friend of, in the community, Zach Milne, and Zach brought up a really good point that this Fantastic Four is the end of Bob Chapek's reign of movies through Disney. Even though Bob Iger's in charge, all of the stuff in the last phase plus Fantastic Four was all under Chapek, who just was pushing stuff. And a lot of it doesn't connect. And now we're coming back to stuff that Iger wants, which you can see with the Russos coming back and Robert Downey Jr. coming back. And people are saying that, Marvel's on life support and they brought Robert Downey Jr. back to breathe life back into Marvel. Yeah, probably. But they're going to start interconnecting things again, I think. I think you're going to get a payoff to the end of the Marvels, the post-credit scene. Nicholas Hoult has already said that he doesn't want to go back to that character, Beast, ever again, which is great, and that's fine.
It's fine. Kelsey Grammer's who set up the Marvel, so we're good.
I think that you're going to finally get some payoff to some stuff. Dom, I put Captain America at 8 just to catch you up.
I put that at 9th.
Yeah, it was good, but it could have been way.
Yeah, look, I think the thing is, the Thunderbolts is the first one where, even if we go to the end credit scene, where it's an end credit from something that's actually going to happen.
Yes.
everything else has been like, hey, maybe.
Well, that's the thing that they started to do, was where at the beginning of their journey with these heroes, they would make end credit scenes that that led to stuff, and then
Right.
they got to a point where they stopped doing that. They made an end credit scene for the shock value, maybe, but it didn't go anywhere.
Right. I don't. So after we get through our next couple things, we'll talk about if that is consistent with the property that has come out after the Marvels, or after Thunderbolts.
We'll see.
Um, Look, and T saying he found the Thunderbolts basic and underwhelming. We got Dom saying he couldn't stand the Marvels with the cats and the singing planet.
Matt couldn't stand the Marvels.
Again, goes back to like I'm at the point where like if I can tell that the people that made the movie and are in the movie are having fun making the movie, I'm good. Like as long as they know what the assignment is and they accept it, I'm in a good spot with it. If they're trying to be uber serious in some of these things and that's not what the show is or the movie is, it just doesn't work for me anymore with this stuff.
No, no.
But you know, to each their own. Look, obviously, a lot of people didn't like the Marvels because it did shitty at the box office. Thunderbolts also did not do great at the box office.
No.
I think that has a lot more to do with them renaming it New Avengers 2 days later. Nobody knew what they were supposed to go see.
I think they were always planning on renaming it New Avengers.
Oh, they were,
but
I don't think the public had any interest in that.
No. No, I don't think we're going to find out what happened to Harry Styles. I think that's going to be a something that just a breadcrumb that goes off in another direction.
Or Pip, because they will recast Patton Oswalt in like his 7th role in Marvel before we get to see what happened to Pip.
So now we get to go to the fun part of the show that Dom loves.
It's quick this week, Dom.
It is. Before you go, that Craig Robinson, who plays Daryl, has retired from comedy and is going to focus on opening a small business with friends of his. So he's stepping away.
Yeah, I'm sure he has enough money to do that.
I'm sure, between The Office and Brooklyn Nine-Nine and all the other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how I don't know how the syndication rights for streaming work for that. Probably not great.
I've heard that they don't get a lot from residuals for stuff like that anymore.
But it is still on enough TV stations airing The Office that they probably do actually still get some money from that, because Comedy Central airs so many episodes a week of it.
So does E.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's so many channels that air it all the time on regular terrestrial or cable or line, whatever we want to call it. That he's probably still getting some checks here and there from that. Though I don't have any of those anymore, but now I want to watch like the World Cup and I can't, so it's a little frustrating. Got to figure that out. Without having to go to in person.
So real fast, again, before you get to that, Steve Carell, who is obviously a bigger named actor than that, apparently earned around $300,000 per episode in residuals from reruns.
Episode?
Per episode from reruns.
That seems like
that's insane.
Yeah, that seems excessive.
Yeah. Anyway.
So we are in season 8. The continued trashy-est of seasons of a bunch of trashy seasons so far. Episodes 4, 5, and 6 I got through. I could not bring myself to watch more of it in a row and have to talk about it, so I figured I would bang these out. So we start off with Garden Party, which has the cold open with a bunch of billboards defaced with Andy and Dwight and Cox written all over them. It's great.
It's a great cold open.
So good for them. BJ Novak still in the opening credits like all the time, regardless of whether he's in the episodes or not. So
he's a producer.
I know, but most of the show's guys are producers. But he's like one of 4 people in the opening credits.
Yeah.
In every episode. Tim, Dwight, Pam, Jim, and whoever the boss is.
Yep.
And BJ Novak. It's really weird.
BJ Novak doesn't direct a show again until episode 11.
In what? The opening credits?
I'm like scrolling through the.
Yeah, there's episodes he's not even really in the show that he's but he's in the opening credits still.
And then he writes and directs the last episode of this season. So that's it for him in the credits stuff. Like, go ahead.
So we got Andy's throwing a garden party because his brother got one, so he's mad that his brother got one.
His
And
brother got a viral YouTube video.
with his dad
Yeah.
singing, which look problematic watching that episode with Stephen Collins as the dad.
Yeah, that part doesn't age well.
Doesn't age great.
Not really, no.
So and you get James Groban, which is great. Josh Groban, geez, who just hosted the Jimmy Awards I was watching the other week.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm a big fan of his. So we got Gabe's mad, Andy's stealing his business style. With so he's gonna always have to one up him this whole episode and then forget about it. Jim scamming Dwight with his how to throw a garden party book.
It's great.
Look, it's recurring and funny, but like it just goes back to Jim is like such a dick. Like he's gonna ruin Andy's big day just to fuck with Dwight.
But
Like,
did he ruin it? Did he?
I don't know that it helped the situation with with Andy's parents at all. His cousin's valeting cars right into the cornfield. The one that I always think is the guy from What We Do in the Shadows, but isn't.
Yeah, but it's not.
And you get Kevin's wearing his toupee again. I don't think for long. I think it's right at the beginning, and then it goes away because I don't remember it being there in the rest of the episode.
No.
But now everybody in the office who's loved Andy for the last 3 episodes now all wants to say they don't work for him. They work for Robert California.
Correct.
And keep telling the dad that, right? They said they'd never work. But like they wouldn't have said they work for Joe and not Michael at any point.
Right.
So like that was weird. The way they played that for the episode, just for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But again, as you my notes here, right? Kind of messed up that Jim wrecks Andy's party just to be a dick to Dwight. Because Jim's an asshole. So we get Angela didn't bring the senator for some reason, which this is the perfect time for him to have come. Maybe Heroes Reborn was filming. I don't know.
Maybe.
But like weird that he didn't show up because now they're picking baby names, right? They both go with Philip for the baby's name, and then that's a little bit of a funny scene later where she and Pam are competing over it. There's the weird extreme cover that Andy tries to do with Stephen Collins, which now undercuts the fact that Andy's been a singer for 6 seasons and all of a sudden can't sing in key.
He's nervous. His dad's there.
Yeah, dad still.
Who's not the same? Who is not the same mother and father from the episode that he proposed to Angela in the parking lot with the Ferris wheel?
Yeah, well, they didn't have the budget then. Aaron's trying to do a video just with her flip phone, still doesn't know how to do it. And Andy gets all pissy about everything and then disappears. And then we get, at this point, because I didn't see the baby monitor yet, I was like, shocking, Jim and Pam left their baby all alone somewhere in a Schrute farm in a crib until Andy decides to stop in there, which, like, I don't know, her mom wasn't at the party, or the 17 siblings they both have, so I don't know why they had to bring Cece to this garden party. It's weird. And then they all make nicey nice with Andy because they feel bad for him now after they were all dicks to him the whole episode. And then, Dwight and them do the end of garden party stuff, which fine.
And what about, the louder you announce, the more important the person is?
Oh, look, all of the Dwight stuff was fine. I was just like,
great.
Yeah, I felt bad for Andy the whole time. And then, so that was that episode. We get to Spooked next with Andy doing a pre-screening of the Halloween costumes. This episode I barely made it through this episode. This was awful. Half of it's about Pam seeing a ghost and Jim just going out to prove that his wife's crazy and ghosts don't exist. And Aaron is all of a sudden struggling with Andy not dating her.
Yeah,
it's a big issue for her. It's weird again.
Did you notice who played Robert's son?
No.
Is Batman from the Gotham TV show?
Oh, I did not catch that. Because he had a perm still in this.
He did. That's
Bert,
Bruce Wayne.
When Bert came in, and Bert and Dwight, best friends, good for them. And then poor Erin, the old party committee, comes in and destroys everything that she had set up for the Halloween party. Robert California shits on everything that she had. And then gets Gabe to give like a Faces of Death style movie.
Yeah.
And she gets out Pecker Poker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
And then Andy's been dating some girl that they've never mentioned on the show.
No. Jessica.
Which is fine. And then
super serious girlfriend Jessica.
Then now Dwight, did we get to Jessica?
Oh.
I don't even remember the name.
Yeah,
then Dwight has Bert take over for Michael Scott with pranking Toby that he's fired. Which I was like, Dwight didn't used to hate Toby. That was just Michael. So now I
Right.
guess everybody's going to continue to crap.
Yeah, so he just had to inherit it.
Yeah, that episode was awful. I barely made it to the next one after that one, where we had Doomsday.
Yeah.
With the closing time opening credits, which is weird because like The Office is still working
right
while he sings it to them every day, and he doesn't notice that they hate it, and Pam still doesn't know the words because she's awful. After 105 times, she still doesn't know any of the words to closing time. But it's Stanley's favorite song because he gets to leave, which was great. Look, Stanley has a couple good moments in this episode. Robert shows up again. Apparently, he comes in weekly, which is weird because Joe was there like once a quarter, maybe if that.
Yeah, but they decided to pay James Spader.
Yeah, no, I know. Complaining about the errors is pretty savage with Andy. And so Andy just says, I think Dwight's the one that can fix the office. Gabe wants to set up a training because he wants to get with Val in the warehouse. Weird subplot there. Dwight's system sends the recommendation to Robert California to close the office and all the bad emails they sent about him. And he calls it his accountability booster. This was a great idea because the office is awful. They suck. They should all be fired anyway. So like I was 100% on board with Dwight's idea. And we get back to Kevin all of a sudden is the stupidest person on the planet.
Yeah, Kevin got dumber as the seasons went on.
Well, no, because he was. Remember they fooled what's her name into he was special needs for a while.
Yeah,
and that was years ago. And then then he was fine again and smart, except for like this season they're just going back to the make fun of the dumb guy jokes.
Right.
Which I don't love, but it's fine. They gave him a special project so he wouldn't make errors on how paper is made. And Gabe tries to go hang out down at the warehouse, and Daryl shuts him down. So my notes here: this office sucks. Single day, 5 mistakes already. Dwight is on point that they need to be shut down, 100%. And they keep trying to play off that Pam has huge breasts, which I don't know why they keep doing that every couple episodes. But they did it again, and still no. And then Aaron, Kevin, and Andy go to help Dwight dig a horse grave to make him cancel the email going out. It's weird. Jim during this stretch finds Robert California playing squash. This reminds me of when he decided that he could be a soccer player with Idris Elba.
Yeah.
It was like the same story. I was like, all right, this storyline. Except for the fact that Robert doesn't ask Jim why he's not working.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
doesn't ask him why he's working.
No. And tries to steal his phone and just breaks it instead. And then, but I did appreciate Stanley again coming through clutch at the end with the shoved up your butt.
Yeah,
callback. That was a nice callback. And then the end of my comments on these 3 episodes was ugh. So yeah,
it wasn't a good. That 2 of those weren't. I enjoyed Garden Party. Stephen, whatever his name is, notwithstanding. The horror one is one I skip if it's on. Although recently, instead of putting The Office on while I'm playing video games, I've put in reruns of Big Bang Theory on.
It's exciting for you.
No, it's just something. It's just noise,
Matt asking if closing times on my next set list. Sure. I'm not picky. I don't know if I'll play it down to Wildwood when I finish at 10 o'clock. It's rough when you finish like way before the bar closes.
Yeah, like if you're doing a 4 to 8 and you play closing time,
at like 6:30. It's like
that's rough.
It's like when I do Chris Stapleton, you should probably leave, and I'm like,
Yeah,
but then nobody will be here.
Right, but you don't care because you're getting paid. So
but I don't want to close with that, so it's a toss up,
So you got to watch some stuff, and we did watch one thing together. Before you go through your litany of shows that you watched, the one thing that we did watch together, it was kind of on my radar. Heads of State was on my radar. John Cena as the President of the United States, William Derringer, and Sam something that Idris Elba played.
This cast was stacked.
This cast was stacked, and you said it about something else today, and you said it also when you texted me. They knew the movie they were making, and that's the movie they made. And it was stupid. It was over the top. It was so predictable, but it was so much fun.
I thought it was great.
It was
I
it was
love
so much fun. It wasn't a movie where I just sat there going, "Oh, is this over yet? I can't wait till this is over." It was fun. You knew what was coming next.
no, I
Okay,
mean,
it was
yeah.
great.
Look, if anybody has, and if you have Amazon and you've clicked through Amazon, this has popped up on your screen to go watch, right? But it's Idris Elba, John Cena, Priyanka Chopra, Jonas, right? Apparently, she had a Jonas finally.
Yeah,
Um, Patty Constantine, Carla Gugino, Stephen Root, Jack Quaid, Sarah Niles. If you watched Ted Lasso, the shrink from Ted Lasso is in this. Um, so many, like just all these great little hints at people and stuff like that. And it's
yeah.
about two heads of state. Shocking. Even the names just like whatever. Here's what it
On
is.
the nose.
The prime minister and the president get into trouble, and it's a buddy comedy of
Yeah,
two guys that don't like each other, but like they both lean into it so bad that it's hilarious. But
what
again, that's like you said, right? That I mentioned to you, like they don't take it seriously, and they know, like, hey, here's the assignment, got it. Let's go have fun making an action movie, travel around the world, do some things, be a good time. And it was, and the action's great, and it feels like the movies we used to get 3 or 4 times a year
yeah.
in the movie theater.
And I remember there was a time where John Cena like just won the belt and then left, and everybody's like, "Wow, he's overseas filming a movie." Well, this was the movie he was filming. That's awesome. I had
Yeah, where
fun
where
watching it.
you get, you used to get these
Yep.
where they could make movie stars.
It did take me 2 sittings to watch it, but I was exhausted from the weekend and watched half of it, took a nap, then watched the other half of it when dinner came. But again, it wasn't because I was bored with the movie.
Right.
It, like,
Look, it's like the movies The Rock was making 5 or 6 years ago.
right.
Which now The Rock is a serious actor based
No,
on his A24 film coming out, which he actually looks insanely good in. But
the MMA one, right?
is that MMA? Yeah,
I think, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That actually does look good, but
So I'll go see that. But
Dwayne can kiss off.
yeah. So that's Heads of State. Highly recommend. Just for go kill 2 hours.
Yep.
Besides that, and I mentioned earlier, look, I'll wait till Poker Face wraps up to hit the rest of that, but continued just super fun. I haven't, there hasn't been an episode of it other than one this season with the little kids that I didn't love. But everything on this show is just the same thing. Like it's nonstop guest stars. It's wild who they all have. Who they managed to get every episode. This latest episode has Justin Theroux, Lily Taylor, Haley Joel Osment, Taylor Schilling, Simon Helberg, Rhea Perlman. Like, come on. They're all fantastic. You get your Big Bang Theory guy in it. So, at some point we will get Frank to go watch this show. And it's
Which Big
just
Bang
another
Theory
good one.
guy?
It's just fun. Countdown, which is the reason that I kept seeing the Heads of State ads on Prime Video, is another one that is great because it used to be the kind of show we got regularly. And I haven't gotten to see one in a while, but it's one of those FBI task force. They pull in a bunch of cops onto this special task force to stop something as we work through it. I don't want to give anything away in case you guys do go watch it, but like some of the big hits in the Jensen Ackles is in it
Oh, nice.
as the star from Supernatural and The Boys
Yeah.
and all the other things. Jessica Camacho, who some of us might remember from The Flash. She was Gypsy on The Flash and some other
I
things.
liked her. Yeah, I
Eric
liked her.
Dane, who is unrecognizable in this from Mr. McSteamy. Nobody would consider him McSteamy now.
Oh.
But Eric Dane is in this.
Oh
Violet
my God.
Bean,
He's
also from The
married.
Flash.
He's married to Rebecca Gayheart. I had a huge crush on her at one point. Oh my God.
Violet
Sorry.
Bean, also from The Flash. She was Jessie Quick,
Yeah.
is also on this show. And I'm going to screw up his name. Yuli Latukifu,
Better
might
you
be
screw
right.
somebody's name up than I haven't done it in a while.
Who was in Black Adam. He was also in Young Rock. He played the teenage Rock on that show, if anybody remembers that.
Yep.
And our other guy that's in it is Elliot Knight, who was in The Boys, Once Upon a Time,
That's a hell of a
How
cast.
to Go with Murder. It's a blast. It
Yeah.
is nonstop action. There's some humor because Jensen Ackles is just Jensen Ackles, right? Like that's just what he does.
Right.
There's some stuff they do that like I don't know they need to do in the plot points. That's like unnecessary drama because there's already plenty of drama in it. Um, but I highly recommend it. It is a blast. And it's only I think 5 episodes in right now. It's a 13 episode season, I think.
Oh, maybe I'll have to.
So you can go get in on that before it's done. Um, Moving through the streaming services over on Apple, I finally started watching Murderbot.
Yeah,
I
that's
started it last night. I finished catching up this morning. There's 9 episodes out of 10 out so far. Alex Skarsgård is the star. It's another
okay.
one. There's like people you're like, oh, I know them. Wait, I know them. I know them. Through this whole thing. So it's about a security robot that is like the most depressed and like whatever about everything security robot. And this is all sci-fi based, like Star Trek esque. There's like scouting
Yeah.
parties that go places and things like that, and they bring the droids with them. Um, but it's great. It is a straight up comedy, dark comedy, but straight up comedy where you see Alex Skarsgård dealing with being this droid and having to protect these people, and him just not giving a shit. And he's also hooked on sci-fi space soap operas.
That
It's
sounds fun.
fantastic. It's so good. So if you didn't know what the hell that was, there it is. See, my boy Chris binged it this weekend. Well worth the watch. 100%. Like it was a blast. I'm stoked for the finale
All right,
this week.
I'll get to it. I got a lot going on tomorrow, but we'll see what
Yeah,
happens after
you
tomorrow.
as a Star Trek fan, you'll
Yeah.
love it because it has that vibe.
Right.
Um, the other show over on Apple that I'm trying to watch right now is Stick, and God, is it bad. I
Oh,
love Owen Wilson,
that's the golf one,
the
right?
golf one that has
Yeah.
the least amount of golf of any golf thing I've ever seen. And most of the golf is fairly unrealistic. Um,
Does Alexander Skarsgård have his shirt off at all in this show?
no, you don't even see his face for the first like 2 episodes.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of not his face; it's just his voice,
Right.
which is fantastic for the dry delivery that he gives for everything.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this
Gonna make me watch True Blood now.
no, watch
I mean, after
watch
but-
Murderbot first.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm such a fan now. I'm mad that I didn't start watching it weeks ago.
Okay.
But Stick has the teen that's really good but obnoxious as hell. And just like whiny brat. There's all these. He's like getting on with like some 20-something-year-old in the show, but he's supposed to be like 17, and his mom's like approving it. It's really weird. Like that they kind of care about age, and that's the whole concept of the show. But then they don't care about age when it's inconvenient. So,
Right.
Not a great show.
Okay.
I'm gonna finish it because I have faith in Owen Wilson a little bit. But to be honest, besides the rest of the show, Mark Maron is fantastic on it. And he doesn't act a whole lot, but he is finishing his podcast, so I'm hoping he's going to act more now.
Okay.
He was great in Glow too. If you just know him as a stand-up comic, his acting stuff's all fantastic.
Awesome.
All right, then let me hit Netflix, and then we will go over to Disney and talk about
Yay.
Ironheart. So Netflix dropped The Old Guard 2, which is another one. It's one of those action movies of old, which was great. It was globetrotting. It was great action, cool stuff. If you liked Old Guard 1, Old Guard 2's good. The ending, because there's no plans on making an Old Guard 3, is bullshit. Because all it does is set up a sequel. Like, not even like an end credit scene. Like, the whole third act of the movie is setting up a sequel that we're never going to get. Which is insanely frustrating.
I don't know if T's still watching. If he wants to put his comment that I saw him make about that show, I'll let him. There it is. He had a good comment about the soul of the show. That I read. I didn't watch the first one, so I can't comment to it. But if he would like to grace you with his comment, please.
Yeah, look, it's It was
Oh,
just
nice.
kind of fine. Like I enjoyed the action sequences. The fight scenes are great, right? Charlize Theron's great in everything she does. Her mullet's questionable in this, but she's still great in everything she does. The rest of the actors in it, I enjoyed seeing Uma Thurman again, who still looks the same as she did in the Kill Bill movies. Um, but again, the third act of that movie is setting up a third movie that I don't think we're ever going to get. So it was insanely frustrating, and I was like, oh, let me just watch it anyway because like I like the first one. I like the conceit of it's cool, where
Yeah.
there's a group of immortals that don't know why they're immortal.
Right.
Um, and it goes a little bit more into that mythology of it too, and plays with some stuff. But I wouldn't highly recommend that unless you've seen the first one and want to continue it. I wouldn't go start that series because you're going to feel unfulfilled. And then Sandman dropped 6 episodes out of the 12 to finish off the show because it was canceled.
Right.
So I'm hoping they wrap up what they can with the storylines. I
Yeah.
don't.
I know you mentioned it to me when the first season came out, and I have a couple other friends that were really, really into Neil and his work before other stuff came out.
Yeah.
I, it's not my thing.
Look, I don't know if it's a good show or not, or I don't know if I like it or not, but I
Yeah.
know it's a well done show, and like it's gorgeous, and the cinematography's great, and the storylines are intricate and involved, and the acting's good, and the cast is great. Um, I don't know if I like it or not, but I know I should when I watch it. So
Right.
like I push through it, and
Right.
it's weird because the comic was more an anthology series with like a couple stories here and there, but not like an overarching through line. So it's weird to make it into episodic television where they try
Right.
and pull things that continue to evolve through it. Um, but if you like the first season, the second season is great. It pulls some stuff through. You get just as many guest stars as you did before. Um, a lot of all the different of the Eternals or the Infinite or whatever they're called. All the Dream's brothers and sisters are in it, and I binged it straight through all 6 episodes, and I thought it was good. Just like I said, I don't know how much I like it. I just know it's a really good show.
Yeah.
Just a little odd for me. Oh, and one other piece of news. Do we have news before we get to Ironheart?
No, I blew all the news earlier.
So I got one HBO Max news, which I want to get your thoughts on. So
Okay.
Neil Druckmann,
Okay.
creator of The Last of Us, has
Yep. Oh
decided
yeah.
to bounce from
Left.
season 3. I figure we'll hit HBO on
Left.
our way to Disney Plus.
Yeah. 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 He
Has
left.
decided to bounce before they probably write or film season 3 of Last of Us, supposedly
Yeah.
to focus on his next video game.
Um.
What do you think?
I think he left because of the backlash from season 2. I think he couldn't handle the backlash. I never finished season 2, and for all accounts and purposes, I made the right choice from what I've read, from what I've heard, from you, from other people. I'm okay. I didn't play the game, so I'm okay missing out on this right now. I don't see myself going to play the game anytime soon. I did start the game when season 1 came out, and then I stopped because I didn't want to go ahead, and then I just never went back. I don't ever turn my PlayStation on. I think he left because of the backlash.
I agree. I think he said, "Let me get out of here before
Yep.
this gets worse and screws up the rest of my career."
Or is part 3 going to be good?
Oh, I don't think so.
You know, I don't know. I don't know.
I think he's going to let Craig Mazin do it. And let's look at the guy that we have left doing this. He did Chernobyl, but before that, he did superhero movie, The Hangover Part 3, arguably the worst of the Hangovers.
Mm.
He was involved with Hangover Part 2, but he did the scary movies. He did Identity Thief. Like he did a lot of not great stuff.
Oh, I mean,
Um,
I'm not
other
going to watch
than
it, but I'm
other than
excited to hear you talk about it.
other than Chernobyl, which was great, right?
Right.
Other than that, he's done a lot of not great. So I don't know where he's going to take the story without that extra oversight over him.
Right.
So and that's all stuff that he's written. Like I said, he wrote Scary Movie 3, 4, superhero movie, The Hangover Part 2. Oh, he did write Part 2, which also, so he took us to Bangkok or Thailand or wherever with Mike Tyson and stuff.
He did.
So, yeah, not great. And to T's earlier point about how he thinks there's no way we don't get a Part 3 for the Old Guard, the director said, "Hey, I'm busy. I'm not going to be doing that." And Charlize Theron's got like 7 other things on her plate right now that she's trying to do sequels to, like Atomic Blonde and a bunch of other stuff. So, and she's going to have a Marvel movie somewhere in there, maybe.
Maybe. We'll see.
So I don't know if we get that third one. And if we do, it's going to be her and Uma Thurman like pushing 60 in 5 or 6 years doing
Ooh.
that. So we'll see. And that brings us to Ironheart,
Ironheart.
which I would assume now has been enough time for anybody that was going to watch Ironheart has made it through Ironheart. So I will let you start there with your
Listen,
overall thoughts.
I enjoyed Ironheart for what it was. Okay. I know there's a lot of people out there that were saying, oh, you know, who would ever do this? Who would ever do this? And a lot of those same people forget that Tony Stark was a real piece of shit before he became Iron Man. You know, the way that they when they created the Iron Man movie, they weren't part of Disney yet. Iron Man 2, Tony Stark was an alcoholic. You know, now all of that was removed once Disney had ownership of Marvel. But Tony Stark was not a good person. Tony Stark was an incredibly flawed person, and that's what your hero is supposed to be, right? Your hero is supposed to be flawed. I think they may have taken her flaws a little too far in some aspects, but I'm trying to find where I wrote my feelings on the whole thing. I enjoyed the show up until, I want to say, episode 5 kind of lost me a little bit when they got into the magic. The introduction of the magic with the suit, it kind of took me out of it, and it feels like the finale went from 0 to 1,000, like way too fast. You were doing a good job of building this character, and you were doing a good job of laying this groundwork. And then, as Marvel has typically done with a lot of its shows, you get to the end and it just all unravels and falls apart. Sacha Baron Cohen was great, finally getting to see Mephisto. I thought he was great in the bits that they gave him. I did not like the end in any way, like the way T's saying it. I don't like that she apparently sold her soul to get her friend back, and it's not even the AI friend who I thought stole the show, personally.
Right.
I don't like that they went down that path with her. I didn't read the comics, so I don't know how accurate any of that is.
I don't think any of that.
It's even in the comic, but
her AI in the comics is Tony Stark.
Right. That's right. Because a lot of people.
She was introduced when we got Lady Thor,
right,
and Sam Wilson Falcon. And look, just to be honest about when those things happened, was when Marvel, right around the same time that Marvel started making these movies, and said, "Oh shit, we got to set up characters now that can take over for these guys in a couple years."
Right.
When our contracts run out with these actors.
I didn't love her in Wakanda Forever. She was kind of more like she was there, then she wasn't, and then the show sat for 2 years. And while like I said, I did enjoy it up until about the 5th episode is where it started to unravel for me. And then the finale just shit the bed for me.
Yeah, look, I thought the show had some real highs and a lot of real lows. But so it turned the show into just being kind of for me.
Yeah.
Overall, like I think the premise of it is so flawed, the way that they get to her going back to Chicago in the first place, that it was hard for me to get into it. Like, okay, so she's at MIT. She's supposed to be the smartest person on the planet, just about, but can't figure out this. And it's 2030 at this point, by the way, 2030 plus at this point because Wakanda was
Okay.
4 years ago,
Right.
which was also after Infinity War, which was after
Mm.
a few more years. So we're I think 2030 is when this is supposed to take place.
I'm
Um,
gonna look while you.
yeah, that's fine. So we're there with that. She like the AI can't figure it out. We're in 2025 right now, and AI is running, probably the country. But so we get all that. That's already happened. And now she can't. Her AI is dumb in her thing. It's all glitchy. Like, and that's the recurring theme, right? Okay, I can't figure the AI out. It's glitchy. I think that's kind of that I think that 2 years ago that story actually probably would have played better than it does now, even. Um, so that just continued to drive me nuts. Like Riri, I guess she's supposed to be 19 um, at this point, and all the things that we're talking about in the show were all repressed issues that she's had for the last 5 years. At least five. I don't know. That's pretty vague. I don't know if that was right
So
before Wakanda Forever that was supposed to have happened, like the week
this
before.
this movie takes place in the fall of 2025, right around mid-October, approximately 6 months after the events of Wakanda Forever, which takes place spring or summer of 2025, which
None
doesn't
of that makes sense
line up with the
because
yeah,
they said she got back from Wakanda, right, and then was at
right,
MIT for 4 years,
right.
right?
It doesn't.
So,
I don't.
yeah, okay.
I don't
Um,
understand how they're doing the time in.
yeah, because then they play back into it right at the end where it's like, well, why don't you just call Shuri? Well, because I started a war between her and the Atlanteans. Oh, did you though? Like, I
I
feel like that got resolved at the end of the movie.
I don't remember.
And maybe it didn't. And like I said to you, I got to go back and watch Wakanda Forever again, I guess.
Yeah.
But like I don't remember it being her fault completely. I remember they were after her because of the tech that she'd built.
Right.
But then it's weird that like she was there and then she can get no support to do other things. Like that whole conceit
Right.
made me struggle with a lot of the show. Um, and the play in like I felt like there was also scenes straight out of like Agents of Shields where we were building Deathlock at one point, so that was weird. I thought it was going to be Deathlock because I don't know anything about the Ezekiel Stain.
I didn't know anything about him, and I thought what they did to him sucked. Basically, I just didn't. There was no real definition of what or who he is. Just to go back real fast. In Wakanda Forever, the CIA uses Riri's invention. She made a vibranium detector.
Right.
That's why.
So yeah, so okay,
Right.
but there's no reason that everybody should be mad at her still because she was a 15-year-old kid that made something in a garage.
Well, Namor demanded that she be killed. That
Right.
was right.
Okay.
Anyway, I
No, I remember that part that he wanted her killed, but like,
right.
but then she can't ask Shuri for whatever.
Nah,
That like I said that and when I'm binging, like once I'm hung up on that in the first episode, I'm there for the next 3 episodes where I'm hung up on that.
right.
Um, it was also the other thing for me, like the Hood was okay. I don't love this as his introduction because like the Hood should have been like this big mysterious gang
I didn't.
boss crime lord character.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't hate him. I thought his motives sucked.
And I don't. He does not come across as a bad guy. Like he's. I like him in the stuff that I've seen him in previously. But he doesn't have that like. Even when he tries to go evil on it, he's still just a pretty boy.
Yeah.
And he never got that like that that I can't describe it like that twist that glint in the eye of where like you see somebody's face change.
Yep.
He's never got that changeover where like, oh, this guy's like like I never got that from him. So I never bought him as the bad guy. And then at the end, it's not he's a bad guy. He's just a spoiled rich kid. Like what?
His cousin was more of a bad guy than he was.
Yeah, and then you pull at the end. He's just mad at his dad. Was the whole like what?
Yeah, that was a little. That was a little weak. That part of it.
Anthony Ramos would make a great Blue Beetle. Look, but we got Jolo still, so I'll take him. He'll be fine. I would buy him as a good guy. It's a shame he was wasted as a bad guy because I just don't buy him as a bad guy.
Yeah.
but like Riri's supposed to be brilliant, right? But doesn't see a problem with doing like these random crimes
Well,
and like robbing everybody just to get money for her suit. That there's other ways she could have got like.
yeah, I mean, I get that, but at the same time, you can point back to Tony Stark sold weapons of mass destruction for money,
Go to
and
Pepper.
it's I get
Like
it.
she has connection. Like Riri's known now. It's not like she's an
Yep.
unknown commodity, right? Like she could go to Pepper and be like, "Hey, I want to help continue Tony's legacy and improve things that he did." Right? Like
Could
there's
have.
all sorts of other solutions than let me go commit crimes back at home and move back in with my mom.
Gwyneth Paltrow wouldn't have remembered that she was in Iron Man.
No, she would have had no idea who
She would have
did.
had no idea who it was.
Yeah.
Who are you again? What?
And that we like Eric Andre's being there for like a minute was weird too. Like,
Yeah, I actually liked his characters, but no,
I liked him too. But like the fact that he was gone so fast, I was like, wait a minute.
yeah. No, I mean there were some definite plot holes in it, and you could explain away a lot of the stuff. But like I said, the ending for me just totally took the wind out of my sails for the show. I hated it.
I thought the action throughout it was good. Like those
Yeah.
scenes were cool. I like I said, it was Riri's motivations and trying to pull in all this pent up trauma over and over again kind of wore me out on like she was my least favorite character on the show. The AI Natalie was great.
I love the AI.
Right. The crew was fun. Slug and the Blood siblings and Clown were all good. I liked Clown. Like Clown could have been used more.
Yeah.
Until they get to the fight scene in the diner.
That was the other thing that I didn't mention that I absolutely hated about the show. I understand she's a genius, but there's 0% chance that she got out of that diner alive when the twins all of a sudden forgot how to fight.
Right.
And the girl with the explosives, that whole, maybe you can get around her. Maybe.
And if she would have done it more with like brains than with like fighting them, I would have bought it. But she didn't. She like went hand to hand
Right.
with these two most dangerous people on the planet.
If you don't have the twins there and she tries to go hand to hand with the girl that had the explosives, then fine. That I could maybe get past that. Maybe find some creative way, like she did with the helium can or the gas.
Right,
like that
cool.
stuff's cool, but she didn't do any of that with the other two. She actually fought them off with some utensils and stuff. But that part, I was just like, oh, come on.
Yeah. So and then we get the part where like her mom all of a sudden knows every wizard in Chicago.
I don't think they realized that they were actually really
they didn't. I'm kidding.
Magicians.
But like went there, right? And like this ties back to earlier, right? Bringing it full circle to our conversation about Agatha all along. This is where Jennifer Kale should have been.
I agree.
Like she escaped. She should be hiding out in Chicago, working at some random shop, and then you bring Zashir Zameda in this. Oh my God, would have been fantastic.
Yep.
And totally pulled that in. They referenced Doctor Strange and Carmitage
a lot.
Right? See, tease with me on that. Like, how do you not take that opportunity? It's not like this year's busy.
No, well, I mean, no, and it would have been perfect. It would have been perfect.
And I would have bought it, and it would have felt like it was part of the bigger world. Instead of going, oh, but there's this.
But
and when I was at I was like, what? So
if
you weren't
if they're trying to set up a Strange Academy, that would have made sense. You laid a little bit of groundwork for Strange Academy, right? Which I had to read up on because I didn't know it was a thing. And apparently the casting of that
Doom
girl.
Academy.
No, it's called Strange Academy.
Oh, because I was pretty sure she was in Academy.
But the casting of that girl, as far as the comic book character, it was spot on.
Yeah.
From
I don't mind the girl, but like you have her work for Jennifer Kale.
Right.
Like that's because the mom not in the comics apparently.
But again, you're trying to set up Strange. You're trying to set up Strange Academy, but is it ever going to actually pay off?
Like I said, you can leave Zelma. That's fine.
Yeah.
But like it was a huge miss in my opinion.
Yep. Are we going to get Mephisto versus Death, Lady Death at some point. Like,
Uh,
where are you going to go with this character now? Unless you go to what Doctor Strange movie?
I don't know, or another TV show. Yay. But like it was also where like Zelma basically just like counted the plot of Doctor Strange, the first movie at one point. She was like, "Let me tell you what happened with Dormammu in Doctor Strange movie." It's like, what are you what?
Right.
Um, and a reference to with Mephisto at the end, like Dormammu, way more powerful than Mephisto, by the way, way more powerful than
Not
Mephisto.
according to Mephisto.
Yeah, I know. Um, Let me think. Was there anything else? So yeah, but like I said, like the most of the fights, like I liked the stuff with Natalie. I thought was great, but like
Me
when the
too.
show screwed up and did something bad, it was so bad it knocked away any of the goodwill that they'd earn up with me. Um, like oh, and when Anthony Ramos gets his dad right when
Yep.
um I did have some points that I got when he and Zeke were going and glitching and doing everything right. Like so when you don't wear the hood, the name the hood is dumb. So calling him the Hood and the fact that he took the hood off, just like Iron Man does his mask every second that he can, like
Right.
not smart. Um,
Another thing really fast. Apparently, this article back in February, Marvel paused development on Nova, Strange Academy, and Terror Inc. And
oh
this
well,
was
there you
right
go.
before they redid. This was February. When is this?
And I feel like Terror Inc. would be Zeke.
When
I think
when
it is might be his character.
February. Yeah, this was February 20th of this year,
Yeah,
and this was right around when Daredevil was getting a redo. So, um, you know,
yeah. And when he got his dad to sign away everything in his house, he signed it with a pencil. I just want to point that out.
but I mean, none of those contracts are legally binding anyway, right? Like,
No, no,
but they
no.
got money from it. I don't know.
Oh, dude, that was the one that took me out even earlier than that. So when they do the train thing and the big underground thing, right?
That was kind of cool.
The action was great.
Yep.
The deal that he strikes, right, is for everybody to go on salary,
Yep.
right? That was the deal.
Yep.
The next scene we cut and there's piles of money on a table. I'm like, but they're on payroll. Why would there be like $1 million on the table when they just got signed on to payroll? And I guess they gave their social security numbers and everything to this guy. Like, what are we doing? Like,
I,
why do
yeah,
we ask for jobs? I don't understand. We're all consultants. I don't understand. Um, super weird.
it was.
Um, and then again, the end, right? Like we get Riri is just a piece of shit. Is how it ends.
Well, yeah, I guess if she's making a deal with the devil, she kind of is. But like, would Tony Stark have made that deal? Do you think?
To bring back his parents? No.
Not to bring back his at at that age, does Tony Stark make that
But
deal?
it would have been 19, right? Like that would have been his parents
Right.
died what he wanted to bring back his parents, which I think they might have played off in one of the what ifs to a degree, but like he maybe, but it was a different time. It was like the 90s. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like
Right.
would today Tony Stark cut that deal?
Oh, God, no.
And if he did, it would have been he would have already had a plan for how to get out of it. They don't portray Riri as like, well, I'll sign this, but I already know what I'm going to do to get out. Like there's none of that in the way they played her character.
No.
Um, he was oh maybe he was having those guys do it. But like he in the train, he cut a deal in the car with the one guy or with the woman. He's like, I need you to do this, and this for my crew, and it was like put us on payroll and give us. I was like, and give us stock, and I'm like, what are we doing?
There you go. Doctor Doom
Um,
makes that deal to bring his mother back. He said,
and then yeah, like I was shocked that that they burned the Hood character this way.
"Well, if
Because
you
like
look,
the Hood is in Daredevil, he's in Spider-Man, he's in
maybe
all
they
these
didn't
other series.
maybe they didn't totally burn him. I mean, I don't know. I don't expect him to show up in the next Daredevil season.
Well, he's like a Kingpin style. He's a Kingpin hammerhead. Like he's a crime boss. He doesn't run like a crew. He's like runs a family in New York.
Gotcha.
But like, with that bit of a supernatural spin to it. So,
Right.
um, we'll see. I don't think, and which is why I think they dumped the show the way that they did. None of this is ever going to tie. Doctor Doom did make a deal to bring his mother back, but he had a plan again, right, like the smart characters, he had a plan in what he was going to do to Mephisto, and how he was going to get around it. Um, and you see that, and look, everybody signs with Mephisto. Spider-Man signed a deal with Mephisto, as the impetuous guy to get his identity concealed again in Brand New Day. That probably consider one of the worst storylines, where he's like, conceal my identity, and then Mephisto gets them divorced.
I mean, we don't know if Riri has a plan because they didn't open up that part of it, and we don't know if we're getting to season 2. We don't know.
I don't think we see any of these characters ever again.
I think you'll see them pop up. I don't know if they'll step up in Doomsday.
You might see Mephisto again, but again, like the looks they gave him were so stereotypical. It was literally Nandor from What We Do in the Shadows. I sent you a picture, and you were like, "Yeah." Like I hated what they did with his look. It was like, here's a stereotypical '90s steampunk vampire. If
they make Strange Academy, you could see him pop up there. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Me either. Like I don't. It got good ratings, but like we just went through all the stuff from Phase 5, and like saying that it's the best rated show on Phase 5, like not high praise. So that means you thought it was better than Secret Invasion, and Echo, and
we have
all along.
So we have Eyes of Wakanda's coming, Marvel Zombies are coming, and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is coming this year.
No. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man already came.
They moved that.
Season 2 won't be this year.
Okay.
That might come out in a year or two, which is too long.
I'll look up something another time for whether or not, or for what's coming up next.
I'm excited about Eyes of Wakanda coming out this year, and Marvel Zombies.
I could care less.
And Wonder Man coming out this year. Those are the shows coming out this year still.
I could care less about zombies.
I bet you see Mephisto again in Wonder Man.
Okay. That would be cool.
That's how they play that character.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm for it.
Where he signs away his soul to be a star in Hollywood, and then he turns out all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I bet that's how they play that, which is fine. So there's the thoughts on Ironheart. Like I said, I thought they did as many things to hurt themselves as they did to help themselves, so that hurt the series tremendously.
Yeah.
For me, and the way I felt about it. Frank, a little different on it.
A little bit. I enjoyed it more.
But we all thought the end was rough.
We did.
So you can check me. Sorry, we went super long today.
Yes, we did.
Check me at Jack Kid Music, Frank at Gimzak, and also on the Isle of Relevancy.
The Island of Relevancy with T.
T.
This Wednesday, you might see me pop up on a out of theater review for Superman tomorrow on a quick little YouTube hit. If I do get with Kenny on that, I'll share it. I'm so super excited for tomorrow.
We'll be back next week with our full Superman thoughts.
Yay!
Poker Face finale, Murderbot finale. We'll see what else Frank manages to watch. Maybe he'll watch Murderbot this weekend too.
Maybe.
But hey, drop us a review, and thanks as always for finding the Geek Spot. See y'all later.
Bye, everyone.